Hello guys, welcome to my first official YouTube video of this channel. I've been doing some vlogging beforehand, which was fun, and it was like a way of expressing and trying to translate my life to camera, and it just didn't really work out, so I thought this setup is a lot more my sort of vibe. So, first video, I'm going to be talking about getting started with music production in 2021. Let's go. The first thing you're going to need is obviously a computer of some sort. Some people prefer a Mac, some people prefer Windows. It really doesn't matter, so long as you get a machine that's capable for the job. So what I'd recommend is this following specification. At least 8 GB of RAM, a pretty powerful processor, the most powerful one you can get within your budget, as much hard drive space as you think you might need. So I'd recommend anywhere between 500 GB and 1 TB. So that sort of future-proofs you a little bit, and then you can obviously use external hard drives at a later date. If you have a good budget, get a better machine. I personally use Apple because I think they're great, and I use Logic, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. So get your hands on a good computer because it's going to save your ass in the long run. If you don't already have a powerful computer, really prioritize this part, because if you're running on a slow machine, it is going to be the bane of your life and you're not going to want to carry on. Anyway, next point. The next thing you're going to need is what's called a DAW, a D-A-W, Digital Audio Workstation. Now what that is, it's your software inside your computer that allows you to arrange, mix, edit, and record your music. Not necessarily in that order. There's a number of different DAWs available. So there's Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Ableton Live, Fruity Loops, Reason, there's loads of them, but the most popular three are Ableton, Fruity Loops, and Logic, and Pro Tools, and all the rest of them. Anyway, this is a little bit of just finding out which ones you like the look of, which ones you like the interface of, and I'm going to talk a little bit about which ones are good for particular purposes. So for example, I use Logic Pro, like I said. Logic Pro is brilliant because it's fantastic for starters as well as experts. It's really simple to get started on. It also has completely professional capabilities, which is a reason why it is used by a lot of the professionals in the industry, because it is so capable. Also, it comes with a large instrument library as well. That's another great bonus, because if you're producing and you're wanting to create sounds of instruments that you don't have, including synthesizers and drums, etc., it's great to have all that inside the box. If you're a guitarist as well, like myself, then it's brilliant for you as well, because it has lots of nice amp models built into the software as well. So that's a bonus. And also, it's only £200, maybe even just $200 if you're in the States. The next one is Pro Tools. Pro Tools is definitely more of a professional choice. If you're not familiar with DAW so far, then I wouldn't recommend Pro Tools because it's a bit more complicated. But it is fantastic for mixing and arranging at the same time. So have a look into it. The next one I want to talk about is Ableton Live. Ableton Live is great because as well as being fully capable as the rest of them in terms of arranging and mixing, it's also really, really great to use as a live tool. You can buy specific mapped out pads, trigger pads that you've probably seen already, loads of different colors on them, that are specifically mapped to Ableton Live, and you can control the whole of the software just using a controller, which is brilliant. I personally don't like Ableton Live though. I find it too complicated and I don't like the way that it looks, but everyone's got their preference. Fourth one I want to talk about is FL Studio. I've not used FL Studio personally because I got familiar with Logic beforehand. It's really great if you want to get started because it comes with really high quality loops and high quality sounds, and it's really simple to use. To create nice drum patterns, there's a nice grid you can use to just create really simple but also really nice drum patterns. If you're going for more beat making or something like that, you know, you're making trap beats, a lot of people find that's their best choice for making that sort of music. So that's DAWs. Just do some research, find out what works for you. I personally recommend Logic Pro if you're using a Mac. Next thing I want to talk about is your audio interface. It's the third thing you're going to need, especially if you're a vocalist or an instrumentalist, like a guitarist as well. I'm personally using a Focusrite Scarlett 2i4, which is a really capable and affordable audio interface that's powered by USB. Mine's quite old now, but you can pick them up for a couple of £100. If you're only using the interface to route your audio through, coming out of the machine and not actually having any audio going in, all you need is something simple. I mean, headphones and speakers, they go without saying. I mean, you need to listen to your music somehow, so just check it out. I would recommend getting decent headphones. You can pick up some decent headphones for about £100, maybe the Beyerdynamic 990s, or I use AKG something or other. You know, between 80 and £100, because if you're using them all the time, they are gonna grate on your ears. Next thing I'd say is picking up yourself a MIDI keyboard. Now this is a really cheap one. I've gone through about 5 MIDI keyboards over the past 5 years. Pick yourself up something within, you know, the 100 to 150 range because it will last you. You don't need anything expensive. All MIDI does is it sends a signal to your machine. Whatever software you're using will pick that signal up and then transfer that signal into a sound depending on which piece of software you're using. So in terms of a setup, that's pretty much all you're gonna need is a laptop, piece of software, the DAW, headphones or speakers, and a MIDI keyboard. The next most important thing you're gonna need is an idea. Ideas can come from anywhere, and the most important thing with starting music production is to just try things. Throw some sounds at the board, just grab a paintbrush and just throw ideas and see what comes out. Because you'll be surprised, you might hear a really cool drum loop, or you'll hear a really cool sample, or you find a really cool synth sound that you might want to place some ideas down. That's a really good place to get started. I would recommend finding something that you really like listening to and just trying to make something like it. If you like techno music, choose a techno drum kit and make a drum beat, or choose a techno drum loop and then put some synths on top of it, put some bass lines onto it, and then you can start building on top of that. Every time that you make a track, you're learning something. Even if it sounds like shit, it really doesn't matter, because you finish that track, you put it away, and you move on to the next one. It's a really fun process, and the best part about this process is everything that you make, no matter how good it is, you will be so proud of it. You will want to listen to it all the time, and you'll be so proud to show people because you just think, I made this track. You'll probably listen to it in 2 years' time and be like, that was terrible, but it doesn't matter because it was great to you at the time. I'm gonna do a few more videos on how to practically get started on music production and how to actually delve into the process of making music, because it's all well and good just saying, pick up these things and off you go. You need to know how to get started. So I hope there's been some useful information in this on how to get started and what you're gonna need. So hopefully you have a little bit of a budget behind you to want to start investing in yourself and in your career as a producer. If you like the way that I've explained these things and you want to hear a bit more of the process through me, like this video and subscribe. I'm excited to get started and to be pumping some regular content out there, and it'd be great to have you on board with me as well. I'll see you guys soon.